Hi, Daddy. What you doing?
You doing the regatta shuffle right now? Oh, a little scullin'. And scoopin'. Some cold style and ting. Well, let's go. Skull with your left foot. Skull with your right.
Yo, it's your boy Dyson Knight, and welcome to episode 158 of the Sup'm Show. Today we are talking about expectations, and I'm rolling solo today. I don't plan to have a very long show, but it might end up being long because I'm off script and I'm just going to be talking from my heart because this expectations thing, I've been using it in conversations a lot in the belief that this is my theory. It is our expectations that costs us our peace a lot of times. It sets us up for frustration. And I've been trying to determine at what cost should we limit our expectations per se. But then that makes me feel like I'm kind of cheating myself, or we'd be kind of cheating ourselves by lowering expectations. Like everybody, especially now, like I believe most people have high expectations of everything. And I this is just me, and I solo on the show. There might be some people out there who have zero expectations at all. But what I've been experiencing, I would say, in family life and in my personal life, is that we set a lot of standards, by extension, expectations. We build up our expectations for certain things. Okay, let me give you an example, simple example. My hair, for instance. I do this thing in the shower where I put the shampoo in and then I roll it around in the water and I try to come up with this kinky, nappy, curly, natural looking type hairstyle. You know, some people just take the little sponge and move it around in their hair like this. That's what I was going for. And, you know, my expectation is that it was going to look nice. And the day after I did that, the first time on the show, my girlfriend says, "Hey, why didn't you comb your hair? You look ungroomed." And that wasn't the goal. But had I reformed my objective to having a more, if I was going for unkept, meaning if I had changed my expectation and gone for an unkept look, I don't know why I would do that, but going for an unkept look, then, you know, she wouldn't have crushed my soul by saying that, you know, I look rough. All right. Here's another example. Leftover food. You put leftover food in the fridge with intentions, with expectations that that food is going to be there for you when you're ready to eat it. You have every intention to eat it, but you just didn't want to eat it at that moment. And then you build up that expectation. Let's say you spend the day at work and you say, "Oh, when I get home, I'm going to have this steak, this rock alarm that I put in the fridge," right? And you're already, all your taste buds are now, have spent the past 8, 9 hours craving for this rock alarm. Your expectations are high. And when you get home, you remember that you're a parent and there's kids in the house who is eat everything. And the steak or the rock alarm is gone. If you was a cussing parent, then the kids get cussed out that night, right? But if you are not a cussing parent, you still mad or disappointed. And that's what I don't want to do with this whole um talk, trying to navigate how to deal with expectations. I don't want it to turn into just expect disappointment. I don't think that's healthy. And but at a lot of junctions, I'm finding that expectations is breaking your heart almost. It's like maybe you share a car. You put gas in the car the night before, the day before, even the week before, expecting that when you jump in the car, gas could be in the tank. You could push out, go wherever you want to go. But you sharing car, and sometimes you jump in the car, gas in it. That's infuriating. It was because your expectation is that because you put gas in the car, you expected that the gas would be there until you drive it out. But in life, I guess you're never the only driver. And there you go. From talk to transformation, y'all. You're never the only driver. To me, that means there's always more chess pieces on the board. And your moves don't determine the way everybody else moves. Like everybody and everything sets its own route. And if you put your expectations behind almost a guessing game of which route everyone's going to take to possibly navigate your way to where you want to be, their risk. Their risk you may get put in check. So how do we deal with these expectations? How do we manage them? I heard an artist say the other day, and I'm really happy that this is becoming a common conversation, and hearing people saying, it doesn't matter to me if I fail, because I'm not going to stop trying. I believe that's one way to navigate expectations. It's like they say, expect the unexpected, or expect what it is. I pause because it jumped in my head again to say, expect the worst. And I don't think that's healthy. But expect whatever it is. Expect that you're not going to quit, regardless of what it is you encounter. I think that's the way forward, y'all. It gets complicated when you add in all of these things like standards and boundaries and the desire to have your life exactly the way you want to have it. Can you have your life exactly the way you want to have it? I don't really believe that's possible. Because if it were so, and again, I guess I'm not speaking for everybody, but I know a lot of people that have, like, you look on the outside looking in, and you see them as having everything you could possibly want. Like, they may have a house, a nice car, a pool in the backyard, which you could go to the pool, and go to the pool every day. And They got the wife, the dog, the kids, everything happening. But it ain't necessarily the case. So there are some things I don't think you should get caught up in doing when you're building up these expectations. I don't think you should do unfair comparisons. Unfair comparisons meaning like if you as a singer, you expect that you can receive the same forward or achieve the same accolades, or if you travel a similar route as another singer, that you would be as successful as that singer. Like you compare yourself to this person. When I was young, I used to compare myself to Usher, right? He had abs, I had abs, have abs, one. He could sing. I thought I could sing. He could dance. I could dance. But it wasn't a fair comparison because Usher was in Bahamian. Usher had Jermaine Dupri rubbing shoulders with Tarara Duru in prison now. And there was a lot of different things going on. So how is it that I expected to put my singing and dancing and get in, my singing and dancing would get me to where Usher was? I believe I thought it would. But what it did do was it did get me somewhere. So I guess that's one of the pros of expectations and having high expectations. But it wasn't good to compare because along that journey too, I struggle with understanding why I couldn't be as successful as Usher. Not really, but I'm, not broken over it, but I thought I had it. I thought I had it till Chris Brown show up. Like Tyrese and Usher, fine. We could do that. But Chris Brown come and change the game. But yeah, these expectations, y'all, these expectations are damaging sometimes. I find in relationships a lot of times too, we expect, and we said this on the last show, we expect that because you are a certain way with someone, you expect that person is going to be the same way with you. And I just had a conversation with my girlfriend earlier today, and it was about housekeeping. And, same old story, leaving socks around the house, stuff like that. Keep your space a certain way, my space a certain way. But I was trying to explain that not everyone has the same priorities, the same, hierarchy of importance. It's different. Like, not everyone grew up the same way. So they have a different value system. And the things that she sees, I may not see, and the things that I see, she may not see. But when you lock into this frame of mind where you want everything to turn out the way you want it to be, it not only sets yourself up for possible disappointment, it can also cause rift in your relationships on the job place, in the household, but not just with the spouse, but with the kids too. Like, I don't know any parents who doesn't expect for their children to remain little hurricanes in their room, meaning keep their room dirty from birth to teenagers before they young adults and ready to move out. They still don't even figure out how to fix their bed, right? But is that our expectation? I think so. I think in this regard, like, discipline is key. I can see where a bit more discipline in my life would have led me to be a have more structure, because I would say that I not lacking structure, but I'm very flexible. And I think that's why I can speak to, just keeping your expectations in check. Like, I'm used to, I guess it's because I'm so experimental, my creative self. Like, I'm used to having these visions of how things are supposed to sound when I'm doing music and how things are supposed to look, you know. I can't draw. I mean, I can draw. I don't say I can't. I can draw. I don't practice it, but I can draw. But I was working on my Junkanoo hat, and I had this I have this idea how this hat's supposed to be, right? And it ain't looking right yet. It ain't looking right, not yet, because this right here, this supposed to be, is my DK logo symbol. That could be black. And but this the first time I've ever made a Junkanoo hat. I never ever once in my life been in a Junkanoo shack. Never. Check a destruction list. Little headpiece. Like, I don't want to mess up the curls I have in my hair, but okay. Maybe it's supposed to be something like that. I ain't put the pattern in yet. Sure, I'll get the idea, right? It looking like a little, like the Pope's crown, but after then feather it up and everything. Speaking of which, I guess Amazon. I get feathers on Amazon. But I had an expectation of how this hat is going to look, and as it didn't, it started to not look how I wanted it to look. I started to, be flexible. And I think that's what a lot of people need when they have high expectations. Like, you could have high expectations, but be flexible. Because if you are not flexible, you can stress yourself out. You can get mad. You can break up your Junkanoo hat, right? And then you ain't gonna have no hat. Everybody should have a hat, figuratively speaking. Like, everybody should have this goal that they want to achieve, that they want to crush, right? But the road to success is not a straight line. So your expectation shouldn't be a straight line. And when you just try to maintain the straight line all the time instead of curving around the bend and then coming back on the line, fluently, not rigidly, not like, I don't want to go. You fighting the tide the whole way around, right? That's gonna cause stress. None of that we can't test. Poor people stress and all kind of stress, right? And I think this is important. I think this is important to be aware of this. that being rigid in your expectations is a problem that you have more so than the problem you make for everybody else. Yeah, you make everybody else uncomfortable around you because, you always want it your way. You always, you know, picking at telling people what they should do, where they should go because you have this vision of how you want things to be. Unless you paying people to do that job, cash money, like you need to chill. It like parents and children. We want our children to grow up to be this and to be that, but that may not be in the books. You know what I mean? That may not be their intent. My second daughter, who's 20 now, and I ain't gonna talk her business. It ain't nothing bad, but she does have a boyfriend now, right? And she makes plans with me sometimes, and sometimes I, too busy and I back her, so I bow to that. But sometimes she'll tell me, "Oh, hey, we could do this," because she was supposed to help me with this hot. She was supposed to be helping me with the same hot. She ain't reached yet, right? She got boyfriend, right? So it's all good. It's all good. But the other day she came home, she meet me working on the hot, and she's like, "Are we supposed to do this together?" I say, "Yeah, but I flexible. If you can't make it, it's cool." Some other like not so cool dads who ain't as flexible as me and as handsome as me, all right? Um, they'd be mad at their little princess and feel away. Not. This is just an example, but we get mad at our children when they don't show up the way we want them to show up. And at a certain age, I mean, you could watch the transitions, like when their babies say, "Oh, my baby is so adorable, so cute, and so smart." I think I hear him say "dada" or "mama" or whatever the case may be, and and you have all these expectations. You're building up these expectations. Oh, they're gonna be a brilliant child. You start talking and start walking and pouring their own drinks and oh yeah, and you're building up these expectations and these high expectations until they learn how to cuss. And then and then you're like, "Wait, what is happening? I didn't teach you this." Um and then they have this stage, man, they always want to help. "Let me help you, daddy. Let me help you, daddy." Right? And that in that phase you can get them to do anything. You could teach them all about everything. And then they move into the next stage where they'd be like, "Oh, dad, come out of my room." And not many of our kids say things like that. But I mean, I don't even know if any kids would say things like that. You might only see that in the movies, right? Um, but you get what I'm saying. Like, there's phases that they go through that cause us to have to be flexible with our expectations, switch up our expectations, change our expectations. And I think that's a healthy lesson. That's a lesson you can learn as a parent. But if those of you who have never been parents, you wouldn't have the pleasure of experiencing an extension of your own self, not doing what it is you already have the smarts to teach them to do. Like, you could tell them exactly how to succeed. Well, maybe not exactly how to succeed, but how not to fail. You can literally tell them that right there, I did that. is not going to work, and then you have to stand and then be heartbroken watching them do exactly what you tell them not to do, and they eat out, buck their toe, or something. Stop running through the house. You can fall down bucket, fall down back there. They don't listen, right? But the lesson is for us as well as it is for them. And the lesson is for us in this world as well as the lesson is for everybody else. Like, your expectations can cause a lot of problems, as well as they can help propel you to a higher achievement, self-achievement, self-accomplishment. Referencing me wanting to be like Usher, right? Because I used to do my push-ups and do sit-ups all the time, because I know Usher was doing his push-ups and his sit-ups all the time, and he couldn't have more abs than me. And he still can't have more abs than me. That's out of the question. But this thing called expectations, y'all should think about it. Even if you have it, like, even if you have thought of, if you find that you miserable, right? If you was a miserable human, check your expectations. See what it is. See, why is it that why are you really miserable? And whose fault is it really? That's another question. Like, whose fault is it that your expectations weren't met? Who you blaming? That your expectation, something that you created, you created it. You created the expectation and they weren't met. And now you miserable. And who fault that is? Think about it. You create the expectation. Could it possibly be your fault that you miserable? There are certain things that you should expect, like you shouldn't expect for people to infringe upon your freedoms, right? And that's something that you can fight, especially publicly, and most times, hopefully, in a perfect world scenario, you will always win, but sometimes you do win. When you stand up for your rights, because you do have rights. So your expectation is that your rights are respected. That's cool. But if we ain't talking about infringing upon your freedoms, your liberties, your humanity, your individuality, we're not in your personal space. I ain't calling names on this one. But if you are a person, oh boy, I got to switch this up. I switch this up because it's kind of close, right? It's close. I don't want people to think I talking about them, even though I am talking about them. If you, okay, I got another scenario that's kind of similar. In politics, the Bahamas, very critically political place, right? I heard someone said they got kind of, I call it jealousy, but a little upset that a musician was doing well. They had expanded and bought equipment and started setting up stages and putting on their own concerts and events. And people was mad. And this is why they was mad. It was mad because they felt as though it was this artist's political connection that made it possible for him to have these things and have these opportunities. But being having an open mind, or properly comparing things, I could see that even though these two artists, or several artists, may have been a part of the same political body during, like, let's say, campaign season, and they always collecting a check. And if one person go and take the check and spend it sweet out, and the next one take their check and spend it buying equipment, then which one of them you think is setting themselves up to have the opportunity when the opportunity arises for them to rent out gear and have concerts and stuff like that? Like, a lot of times we don't, like I say, we don't do fair comparisons, and then we build up these expectations watching, hey, we was just together on this road, how come you there and now I here? Well, you didn't do your push-ups and your sit-ups. How you expect to have abs? You literally expecting to have abs. You literally expecting to get the job that the other artist is getting, when you didn't invest the same way. Like, you didn't follow the same template. You didn't even have the same goals, but your expectations. This is where expectations get wild. Like, how is it that you expect that you can get the house, the car, the dog, everything that that this couple have, or your friend have, when you had commitment issues, or you couldn't rule? Nobody could tell you what to do. No man could tell you what to do. But this next gal, she could rule, or this next dude, you know, he plays fair. He listens, and whatever it is that it took to build a successful, to build a success that they have. It may not even be relationship success. Like, they may be miserable together, but they got things, and you ain't got things because you choose a different route. But your expectations you expect. How you gonna expect? Y'all listen, this expectations thing is get a little wild for a lot of us. About to release an album, and I scared because the last time I produced an album, it was 2013. It's 10 years ago. And I have not really done any producing since. But, I was in school. I got this degree. But the degree, let me tell you something. Degrees are cool. They look really, you can't see mine, but they're on the wall behind me. I Yes, I got a degree. Thank you for my thumbs up. Um, they are cool, but the degree don't mean you actually could do the work. Like, you have to do the work. Doing the work means you could do the work. And I'm at that crossroad now where I've been doing the work, and the issue with being smarter at what I'm doing, right, going to school, is that I can hear the issues, and there are some things that I I can fix, and then there's some things that I can't fix, or that I can't fix yet. Right? There's some issues in the mix, but I expect that I am no match for someone that has over 10,000, 100,000 hours of production. Who's been the person who didn't go to school but was producing the past 10 years that I wasn't. I don't expect to be on their level. I don't expect for people to be as excited about my release as they may be excited for another producer's or artist release. But I expect to do the best I can in my work, and then get better at doing it. You know what I mean? So maybe, hey, maybe we having a breakthrough with the expectations. Maybe your expectations should always be on self. How would that work out? If your focus is on self and you hold yourself accountable to your expectations, it's like when you make those New Year's resolutions. If you make a New Year's resolution from New Year's years back and you ain't meet those New Year's resolutions to this day, but someone else isn't meeting your expectations and you mad at them, but you ain't mad at you. Should check that. And the saying, like, I believe as long as you have life, like you have an opportunity to become better. Even if you was really good and then you get bad, you have as long as you have life, you have an opportunity to get really good and even better than you ever been before. If you focus in on self. But if your expectation is to change everybody else so that you yourself can look better externally, I guess, to the outside world, or feel better in your own little world, I think you killing precious time. You killing precious time in regards to your self growth. I could be wrong. Only me one on the show, so I only talking like from how I see it. Different strokes for different folks. And the saying, life is what you make it. Like, is that really true? To a certain percentage, I'd say, yeah. I think there's some things you can't change, but I think you can make the best out of every situation. There's always a light. There's always, wherever there's the whole yin and yang scenario, you know, the little black and white thing. I think it's called yin and yang. But you can't have one without the other. Like, life will always balance it. This universe, this existence will always balance itself out because we are not the center. We are not the center. And I watch I don't want to unpack that. I know they need unpacking, but I don't want to unpack that. I watch an iceberg video of an iceberg flip over, did a somersault. I think if you Google iceberg somersault, you'd see the same video in a time lapse. It shows this iceberg literally flipping over to the other side. I didn't know icebergs do that, right? But the lesson for me in watching that iceberg flip over, I probably is this my creative mind here now thinking. I instantly thought about how the planet in this scenario is always self-correcting. And if the planet is self-correcting, if the iceberg flips over and finds a new balance, finds a new, what's the word? I had sailors would know this word. It's not pivot. But anyway, finds a new balance. Then we must be able to flip over and find new balance. And I believe the entire universe continuously flips over to find a new balance, regardless of how we human beings jack it up. Like, things always balance themselves out. I think about this whole AI movement. when they first started talking about it and first started seeing what AI could do, but yeah, it's like, hold on, why in school studying this and freaking AI? You could just write Tom like Susan, Susan likes Tom, but Tom gone away. And the AI write a whole song about that when I have to go and figure out chord progressions, um, 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 structures, movements, lyrics, storyline, yada yada yada. Then I gotta go figure out the sonic um, value in the whole production and arrangements and stuff like that, and play all these different like. I ain't got to worry about that because the iceberg will flip over and find a new balance, regardless. And maybe your expectations are so crushing when they aren't met. It may be out of fear that you can't flip over or that your world is out of balance. It may be for a moment, like a lot of other things happen to the iceberg, like piece break off, this, is melting, some peaks kind of fell, and now they out and when it flip over, it turned into an entire new structure. But it's that bad, it's still an iceberg. Like you still you. It ain't the end of the world. Even if the iceberg melts completely, it's this the water from it still exists. Like you change structure, but you still exist. Like you're still relevant. You're very relevant. You can't make ice without water. And there's a lot of things this world won't be able to do without you. Yeah. Let me think. Was there anything wild this week that stood out in socials? And I sent a couple of things to myself in Instagram. Let me see if there's anything there that I wanted to play. La da da da. Uh Most of the things I sent myself, well, I sent to the Sup'm Show page, have to do with the gender wars type situation. Like, and I mean, it's this. I am a man, so y'all forgive me if the show content favors men the way we see things more so, and it may feel as though like we are attacking women. May feel a way, but that's not the objective. In fact, the objective is that, but then beyond that, it's like if I say something that is that makes a woman feel a way, I said it because I want to know which way you feel, and I want it explained to me. Give me an opportunity to understand why it make you feel that way, so that we can coexist better. That's the objective. To have, not necessarily, yes, I don't like some of these words, but I give to have a safe space where I can say exactly how I see it, and then you can reply, and then I can listen to that reply and try to understand it, and then we could move on happily ever after. um there was this one was interesting. I don't Let me play it regardless of how I feel about it. uh I have it queued up. Hello my honey, hello my ragtime gal. All right, if I put myself on the screen and then I add screen share. Instagram. I got y'all right here. Okay, I found this interesting. This is what this young lady is talking about right here.
Same event, same track, different uniforms. Men wear long shorts to mid-thigh, loose vest, functional, focused on performance. Women wear high-cut briefs and a tight crop top. If she wore that same outfit to a market or bus station, people would stare and call it indecent. So why is it only normal when she's on TV competing for a medal? Look at beach volleyball, the clearest example. Men, tank top, longboard shorts to the knee. Women, bikini top and bottoms with almost no fabric. Same sand, same sun, same sport. You cannot say a bikini makes you jump higher. It only makes you more watched. Same in vault and gymnastics. Men vault in full singlets and long pants. Strength is what we see. Women vault in a high-cut leotard that exposes the whole leg and hip line. In public, it would be called lingerie, not sportswear. They say it is about aerodynamics and freedom of movement. Then why don't men wear the same? Why does aerodynamics require less fabric for her and more for him? For men, the uniform is designed around the sport. For women, it is too often designed around the spectator. We say we want to respect female athletes, but we dress them in uniforms we would never let our daughters wear to school. So we must ask, who is this uniform really for? Her to play better, or someone else to keep watching?
Yeah. I don't know how y'all feel about that. But I think she has a point. But here again is where expectations could get you in trouble. Her expectations is that, I speak to expectations. I think what she needs to understand is that sports is entertainment. And a lot of women really enjoy watching football players in them tight pants. Back in the day, basketball players was wearing boom boom shorts. Magic Johnson, them shorts was very, very short. And the point is, like, she may have an expectation to see everyone like equally represented in terms of sexuality, but the owners of these leagues and these sports, the stakeholders, they expect to make money. I think it has more to do with making money than it is an objectification of them sexually. Like, and I learned that a lot about life. And when we get caught up talking about systems and inequalities and stuff like that, sometimes it's a power move, like wanting to assert yourself over, or I wouldn't even say yourself directly, or a self directly. Maybe a body of people over another body of people. But most times it's about dollars and cents. Y'all can let me know what y'all think about that. But I think I done with the expectations conversation. I know I had some breakthroughs, and I am able to look at it through a more powerful lens. I can see a lot more in it. I hope y'all can too. We're going to shout out my co-host who couldn't make it. Dr. Campazad is on a college tour with colleges scouting his, not baby girl anymore, but his daughter. And JP is managing a few projects. Some floors are being installed by the greatest flooring company on the planet, JP Knowles. And Ans, between her busy schedule of being a nurse, a wonderful wife, and an author, and well, she's being a mom. She's doing school prep. So, shout them out, wish them the best in the things they're doing. I want them to be flexible in their expectations, and I want y'all to be flexible in y'all expectations. Don't get stressed out, and for goodness sake, don't ever quit. But that's it for me. It's been episode 158 of the Sup'm Show. Thank y'all for watching. See y'all next week.